What a great start to the show. I mean, we're all just over here on the side. We're looking at a glorious Neyland Stadium. Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. The bat signal went up. Coach Jay is here. Scoops is here. Little bit of a chaotic day, but let me tell you boys something, man. This is what I love about the Talkin VAWLS Network. This is what I enjoy when it's so chaotic, when there's complete madness, and we get to kind of live through it together. It's almost, Coach, like a live commitment stream when we're waiting on that big 5-star to jump in the boat, and we're all sitting here together anxiously awaiting. And I kind of thought we were going in today maybe looking for some news from Joey Aguilar, but we're talking about Sam Levit. We think it's a bidding war between Tennessee and Miami, but he commits to LSU, but not so fast, my friend. Tennessee is not going away quietly into the night. Coach, it's chaotic, but I love getting to kind of live through it together here on the Talkin VAWLS Network.
Yeah. Look, what is the temperature? It is 75 degrees. I know you can't see it because the old bright Southern California sun behind me is blurring you out, but there are some goalposts in the back window. Just getting a little work on the grass today and enjoying life out here, man. But yeah, it should be interesting to see what goes on with Levit. How open is he to listening? What goes on with Joey? Lots to think about, and I'm sure lots for Vol fans to freak out about. So already take a breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth, and let's see how this thing plays out.
Scoops, I had to get Coach on here to calm us down because you and me, we're so full of piss and vinegar right now. We're ready to rock and roll. He's got to balance us out a little bit. How we feeling?
I mean, chaotic. I just leaving work like the 9 to 5, and then you're trying to keep up with it. I'm checking my phone, probably doing more work on the Vols Scoops account than I am at my actual job during the time. And it's just absolute chaos. You're seeing the thing come out where, hey, Pete Thamel puts it out there. He's expected to sign. You're like, oh, that's a bummer. Where's Tennessee going to go? We're kind of focusing on the Joey Aguilar hearing and news that we're supposed to expect later today. And then, Tennessee, not done yet, still having communication, nothing signed yet. Sounds like on the LSU side of things that, he's been, verbally agreed to something, but there is no ink on the paper. Tennessee sounds like from Pete Nakos giving one final offer. It's been chaotic, man. It just up, down, up, down, up, down. So at least we got Coach here to kind of calm us down for everything.
Let me walk you through it. This is what my day looks like. This GIF right here perfectly sums up my day, right? I wake up this morning. I know what I'm going to talk about. I know I'm going to talk about Sam Levit, and it feels like it's Tennessee. It's Miami. You hear all the talk out there about Ty Simpson and $6.5 million, but Austin Price, Scoops, you texted it to me, and I'm like, $6.5 million. And when AP confirmed it, right, we were talking in the back room last night. You kind of put it back there, and I'm going, that's not true. I don't believe that. I don't buy into that $6.5 million. And then AP confirms it, and I'm like, man, if Miami's throwing $6.5 million, like what are they going to do for Levit? Because Ty Simpson says he's still going to the NFL. He's not entertaining Miami, and I think it's Tennessee and Miami. And is Tennessee going to go all in? Are they going to try to have this bidding war? Foul Mink talked about it last night on the live stream. All the money that Miami has been in the national championship game. And then, you come to find out he commits to LSU. And so I make another video talking about where does Tennessee go. Meanwhile, we're waiting on Joey Aguilar. But this kind of sums up my day when Matt Zenitz puts it out. Tennessee has not given up on Sam Levit. And if you scroll through this, there's some fun here. See, Brian Staley's been giving me a hard time. He says, y'all got to stop panicking. Y'all got to calm down. He says, let's go meet up and let's have a steak and stop worrying about it. So this is what I said I was going to do. But really what I'm doing is jumping in the car, jumping down here and getting on Talkin VAWLS Live. Here's Carl tweeting out, live look at Boogie after all the videos on Levit. In my last video, I said I'm done talking about Levit. The only time I'm going to talk about him is when LSU comes to town. But here we sit, and we're going to talk about Sam Levit again. Look, Coach is gone. He's out of here. We'll see if he pops back in or not. Look, impromptu stream. Wait, we got breaking news here, Scoop?
Yeah, so off the top, we're talking about Sam Levit. We're all, wondering about Joey Aguilar's case. From @SamRothman_, he does good work over there on X. Doesn't look like a resolution in Joey Aguilar's case versus the NCAA is coming anytime soon. On a conference call today, the judge said he can't meet with the plaintiffs and defendants this week, despite the portal closing Friday. Both the plaintiffs and the defense, NCAA, did agree to forego live testimony to move up the hearing before the portal window closes. However, a hearing is to be scheduled in the next few weeks, which of course is not ideal. There's about 20 players waiting on a decision. We're obviously balancing all the Sam Levit news. You see this, Tennessee, you saw Matt Zenitz put out yesterday, Tennessee not feeling confident. Doesn't seem like it's going to be likely. I'm wondering if all of these things, all these headlines are coming together where you're seeing Tennessee be more aggressive in the Sam Levit case. If you're seeing them go and try to find an extra million, or can you call up another booster to go all in on this? Kind of where we were, thought it was heading, but this is just not ideal because you're not just messing with Joey Aguilar. And yeah, we're selfish about wanting Joey back, but these are, 20 other kids as well, grown men now that are trying to have one more season that benefits them to play college athletics. So chaotic, and it kind of represents why Tennessee has been having these visits, whether it's a Bo Perbula or being all in on Sam Levit, because you can have to weigh all your options, because the worst case scenario like this can happen where you put it in a judge and the courthouse's hands and they just play with your life and your money.
I talked about this in the video that I put out, and everybody kind of had today's date circled on the calendar, us included. AP had kind of put it out that we may hear something on Friday. So all eyes were on this Joey Aguilar case, but it's the court system and you never know what's going to happen. And then even further down, there was no mention of it being a ruling. There was no mention of there being a court date. It was all about a conference call, some type of meeting. And it gave me no indication that we were going to get a decision here. And now here we sit and we're going to kick the can down the road. Coach, do you have any positive energy about this Joey Aguilar case? I think it's over. And as crazy as it is, because last night we're talking about a running back that just got approved for his 7th year of eligibility. I just don't think there's going to be a blanket waiver this year where all the JUCO guys get a free pass. I think it's going to be case by case, and I think Joey Aguilar is going to move on with life.
Yeah, it feels that way, and I don't think, I haven't gotten the indication at least that Joey's going to sit here and wait forever. He's going to go out there and move on and take the next step of it in his life if if this thing isn't adjudicated in time. And hey, look, the Vols are going to go on, whether Sam Levit is going to accept any kind of new offer from Tennessee or not. At the end of the day, Tennessee's going to go out there and keep working the problem, right? Like that's just what you do as a coach with your roster. Whenever you miss on a player or don't get the guy you want, you keep working the problem until you have the best possible solution for said problem. And I don't think this situation is going to be any different. Whether they get Levit or not is mentioned. I think they'll keep working the problem until they get a solution that they can live with.
Let me hit up you guys in the chat here. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, impromptu live stream. We got 734 people watching live. We didn't announce this. I think we went live on 30 minutes notice. We really need your help here. Hit the thumbs up. That'll take you 2 seconds. We appreciate it. Share this out. Retweet it. Put it on Twitter. Put it on Facebook. Let's grow this live chat. Let's get over 1,000 people watching as we kind of walk through this thing together. Also, super chats, door fees are greatly appreciated. It gives us the opportunity to cover this thing all day, every day. All the chaos is only covered because of you. So if you've enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up, drop a super chat, drop a door fee. We would be grateful for that. Bert Smith dropped a $2 super chat and said, door fee, become a member for only $1 a month. Well, I like Bert for dropping a super chat, dropping a door fee, and also doing a little advertising for me. You can hit the join button down below. It's only $1, and it truly does help keep this show moving forward. So we appreciate all that support. Nicholas for 2 says, look desperate, but then again, we are. We'll come back to that, Nicholas. I think Scoops is onto something here. Dylan Elam for 5. I don't want to overpay too bad. Oh, I don't want to overpay too bad, but if it means stuffing Kiffin in a locker, I am all for it. Man, that meme, good Lord have mercy. Somebody rolls with a meme like that of Lane Kiffin stuffing Josh Heupel in a locker, then I've got to read it in the comment section for the next freaking 48 hours. It's exhausting.
That had my you try to breathe through the nose, out through the mouth, but that kind of got me a little triggered as soon as I saw it. I'm like, the audacity, you know what I mean? But yeah, no. This I think that has to play a factor into why we're going back in on Levit as well. I think there's some boosters that maybe don't have common grounds with Lane since he left. They know how he trolls. And some guys might want to stick it to Kiffin one last time or win a big recruitment battle. So that's why you probably saw that last offer approach. But it doesn't help, especially it makes you have to go all in when you see a tweet just like this. And I mean, what's next? Like I think from this point forward, if you do try to drag this thing out and you do have to go a different route besides Sam Levit, do you see maybe Joey put his name in the transfer portal and not commit anywhere while he waits and fights out that eligibility to see if maybe it goes on? But obviously the timeline is not his friend at this point.
This is what I think about Lane Kiffin and lockers.
Yeah, I didn't sign any mustard bottles or golf balls. Maybe wish I had a golf ball that night, you know what I mean? But I'm only kidding. All right.
Cody Tackett for 2 has been working all day. What's going on, Boogie? We're going to try to walk you through it all right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. Brian Turner for 5 says door fee. GBO, shout out, Brian. We appreciate you. Robert Hillhouse for 2 says Mo Money Monday. GBO, shout out, Robert. Rick becomes a member of the channel. Shout out, Rick. If you're not a member, hit the join button. We would appreciate it. Nicholas for another 2 is Levit sitting in your passenger seat. We can neither confirm nor deny that Levit is riding shotgun with Coach J. Coach Scoops is on to something here. And look, we're all trying to read and gauge what a judge is going to do. You never have a clue what these courtrooms are going to do. I'm not surprised at all that the can just got kicked down the road. But you got to look at it the way that Josh Heupel has attacked the portal, the way the names that have kind of been rolled out from the guys that have that inside connection. We're talking about Sorsby and Hoover and then Levit. You got to sense some type of desperation here. And even though Dylan said, I don't want to overspend, do you find yourself in a situation here where it looks like Joey Aguilar may be on the way out the door? Sam Levit's the last guy really in the portal. We're talking about checking down to Pribula, which I don't think anybody's really happy about. Do you think that we're kind of backed into a corner that maybe, like Scoop said, some of the boosters, the Spire Sports Group, were willing to overspend here to go get Sam Levit?
I mean, it's possible. I personally hope we don't. I don't want it to come at, more defensive recruits. Maybe that's just me. You are dealing with a very slanted point of view from an old defensive ball coach, though. So, take that for whatever it's worth. But you could be, hey, look, Heupel is not a defensive coach, right? I know he takes defenses seriously, but he's not a defense coach at the end of the day, and he might choose to overspend there. I hope we don't. I tend to think Heupel always gets a lot out of his quarterbacks. I haven't, kind of checked down the list. I think it's also kind of a stretch just to assume that we'll go right to the Missouri kid. If Levit doesn't work out, I think you'll see, that board kind of reset with some other players as well. So I think we're in for a wild week if we can't get it across with Levit. But I think to make any assumptions about what the next play is a little presumptuous. Heupel's always gotten a lot out of a little, and if he could get what he got out of Joey, I think he could certainly get a lot out of some other players that are sitting there still, at a smaller level. You always got that Longstreet out there too, if you want to bring a couple young kids and let them compete, right? I don't know if he's signed yet, but I just think, there's a week left to work the problem. Let's keep working it. I don't want to get into a situation where we hand Levit $7 million for 1 year. I don't think that's healthy, personally.
Go ahead, Scoops. Go ahead. I was going to completely change gears there.
I was going to say, like, you have that one final offer thing. So you have the lip spring injury that has been giving a lot of people pause. But to see Tennessee have one final offer, it kind of backs up to what AP said earlier. I think was that they've kind of seen where that injury is right now. He'll be ready to go right after spring ball. They're confident that he'll be able to get that full fall in as well. So Tennessee's done that before with Joey Aguilar this past season. But to see them kind of put that money in there, go all in, feel confident about where they are at in the process, and just to even really have that come out from Pete Thamel, and then still have conversations, and you're still throwing one last ditch offer right now. That's huge to me, just because that you're still in it. But don't get your hopes up. But that's what we wanted, though, this whole entire time, is Tennessee to be a big dog. It's not desperation. You're being a big spender. You're being a alpha in this day and age of college football, where you got to go out there and make a statement. What better statement than to go out there and try to land the number one quarterback and overall player in the portal.
Let me hit a couple of super chats real quick. Vol Girl for 5 says, didn't realize you were live. What is happening? Is Levit going to LSU? He committed to LSU, but then news broke shortly after that, said it wasn't finalized. No pen hit paper. Tennessee is making a final push. We'll go look at an update from On3. We'll also go look at an update from Austin Price and kind of walk you guys through it. Outgoing Gal for 5 says, just curious, why are we not pursuing Husan Longstreet? Coach, you brought him up, and the interesting thing about this name is because after you brought him up, Coach, I've kept going back to him. He's a name that Pete Nakos connected to Oregon as the top team to watch, and then Lane Kiffin was pushing, and LSU was trying to get him on campus, but then all this happens with Sam Levit. But since then, again, all this happened so fast. Dylan Raiola has now committed to Oregon. Longstreet, if we do lose Levit to LSU, Longstreet's a name that I wonder if Josh Heupel picks that phone up and gives a phone call to.
I certainly would. Like the kid's an absolute stud. Right down the road, actually, from where I am currently over at Corona Centennial, parental powerhouse out here in the Trinity League in Southern California. Just another one of these SoCal kids has been spinning it since he's been, 5-6 years old in passing leagues. Limited action this year. He put up insane numbers in limited action. He's looked really good, and I can tell you what, there were more than 70% of USC Trojan fans that were really, really ticked off when Mavia decided to stay that extra year. They really feel like Longstreet was the better option, not next year, not after another year of maturation, but right now they felt like he was that good. And I can tell you, he wasn't the only one that thought that way. There are people within the USC program that coach knows, I'm not going to out him on here, so don't ask me to do so, that felt like he was the guy already and should have been the guy. So there was some dissension there. And as mentioned, the kid's a stud. If that's what you get pushed to, then why not bring him here? What are you afraid of? Bring 2 5-stars and a 4-star in, let them compete, and may the best man win. And that's our guy, and let's ride.
Got a $2 super chat from Wade Rouse, says Longstreet is also taking a visit to LSU. I'm sure that's all going to depend on what happens with Sam Levit. Jimmy Powell for 2,
Sure.
Nothing to say, just a tip in the tip jar. Shout out, Jimmy. We appreciate that. Marcus VFL for 5 says, Dorfy, does Uncle Rico have any eligibility left? I bet if he did, he could throw it over there, over them there mountains. But I did say we may end up suiting Scoops up and getting him geared up, ready to go play. Hey, impromptu live stream. We appreciate you guys tuning in. 926 people watching live. Hit the thumbs up. Coach is in his vehicle with a cell phone connection. Scoops is trying to get some type of food into his system. So if you guys enjoy the content, smash the thumbs up. Takes you 2 seconds. You can hit the join button, become a member of the channel. If you do feel so obliged, a door fee, a super chat goes a long way in keeping the lights on around here, and we would greatly, greatly appreciate it. So let's kind of rewind time, and let's go back, and let's take a look at it as it kind of happened in real time. And again, we kind of went to bed last night thinking this was going to be a bidding war between Tennessee and Miami. If that was the case, Scoops, if we end up in a bidding war, kind of like the $6.5 million, right, that was put out. And I don't even want to say allegedly. It sounds like that was the deal. That was the offer, $6.5 million plus some other things. I don't know if that's housing. I don't know if that's a car. I don't know if it's a vehicle. I don't know what it is. But $6.5 million, I made a statement in a video earlier today and said that's not sustainable. And somebody said, what do you mean it's not sustainable? Somebody's always going to pay the money. And then people want to talk about ticket sales and how much money the university makes. 6.5 for a quarterback, 6.5 million for Ty Simpson. When a year ago they were like, oh, Carson Beck was 4 or 5 last year. Exactly. So we went from 4 to 5 to 6.5. What's next year? 8.5, 10. When does it become 12? When does 12 become 16? I don't think it's sustainable to keep increasing how much we're willing to pay a quarterback for college football.
No, yeah, for sure. Whenever that headline comes out, it really is not realistic. So when you heard that amount of money for a rumored Ty Simpson deal, you're like, all right, what are they going to offer Levit after they just got all this ACC money, like Val had mentioned? They're throwing out, the money that they can throw out. So you're thinking, hey, I don't know if, Tennessee is going to be willing to spend in that ballpark. But the craziest thing to me was when Nakos dropped that article about Tennessee being in it, is that Levit told that, Miami, they were out, like it was a Tennessee LSU thing. So that's just crazy to me, knowing that the amount of money down there, the incentives they have, the everything they can do, how globally, you can put an athlete anywhere in the city of Miami. There's so many opportunities there. So that was interesting to me. But the ballpark of $6.5 million, I agree, it's only going to keep going up. I mean, how far away are we from a guy making $10 million a year in college football? I mean, if these big boosters are going to spend money, they're going to spend the money. So we've seen that be pretty evident. That's why we're here right now. I don't think Tennessee or LSU, wherever he ends up, is getting him for under 5. I mean, that's why you see the one final offer. And maybe, Kiffin goes 3 for 3 and he gets, Longstreet, he gets the Elon quarterback, he gets, Sam Levit. But I think it's more appealing. I think we have an appealing case, and you got to throw that money. It goes back to being aggressive in this landscape. You got to have that money, but then you sit back at us as common fans, like we're like questioning, like, is this guy really going to be worth a fourth or a third or however much of our budget for 1 year coming off an injury? It's absolute insanity that we're at this point. But it's the wild, wild west, and there's still no groundbreaking rules or expectations, and it's going to keep happening and happening and happening.
But I think that you brought up an interesting point, saying coming off of the injury. Coach, you think you got Miami, who's offering Ty Simpson $6.5 million. Now, I would rather have Ty Simpson quarterback my team than Sam Levit, especially when you throw in the injury to the situation. So we're thinking Tennessee, Miami. Do you think Miami passed? Do you think maybe Miami wasn't willing to drop the bag because of the injury to Sam Levit? One of the biggest things that I was curious about this morning when I saw him commit to LSU is, what did LSU pay? And what is Tennessee willing to pay? And what does that bidding war look like if Miami's not willing to go down that road? How much is Tennessee willing to pay? But I just think there's something to be talked about here with Sam Levit and the injury and what he's actually worth. You give me Sam Levit, a healthy Sam Levit from 2024, I guarantee you Miami's dropping the bag. But an injured Sam Levit that may not go through spring camp, maybe they're not willing to drop that bag.
I certainly think it gives you a lot of indication that, they didn't drop that bag on him, right? That he did go to LSU. I think that foot injury is a big part of it. I mean, even $5 million for a kid that you just 100% don't know if he's good, that's scary, man. I mean, you could even make an argument, I don't know if it's the case or not, but you can make an argument that we didn't want to up Ricky Gibson or stay the current price with Ricky Gibson because we didn't know where he was going to be after an injury. I mean, that's scary. It backs pros off things. It's going to back donors off things. It's going to back everyone off things. And you got to, I know it, SEC is win now, right? Like Tennessee fans, we crazy. We will fire you if you don't win. But with that said, there has to be some kind of balance with sustainability. And how many times are donors going to hand you $6.5 million for a quarterback with a broken foot if he doesn't pan out? I mean, hindsight gets to be 20/20 really, really fast with these guys and everyone in general. So say Sam comes here, say we drop the bag, say we drop $6.6 million, $5 million on him, and that's what it takes to get him here. And then halfway through the year, his foot goes bum, and we go down the toilet. I mean, that's going to get loud. That's going to get really loud. And next time we ask for money, the purse might be a little tighter. Abe Lincoln might be stretching a little harder to get out of the wallet. You know what I'm saying? So it's a tough balance, man. That's why these coaches are making a lot of money right now. And from one ball coach to another, I don't. Part of me doesn't envy you, Coach Josh Heupel, because that's a lot of stress, brother. That's a lot of stress.
Hindsight's always 2022, right? Like everybody looking back at letting Jacoby Thomas walk. It's easy to go, we should have let Boo Carter walk and take Jacoby Thomas. Y'all would have said Josh Heupel was insane if he let Boo Carter walk and offered money to Jacoby Thomas. But again, hindsight's 2020. Same deal here. Sam Levit, you go drop a bag, he comes in and wins an SEC championship, wins a Heisman Trophy at Tennessee. We're all praising Josh Heupel and talking about how he's the greatest coach of all time. But he goes and spends the money on Sam Levit, and Sam Levit's a dud. Then all of a sudden, we're ready to run Josh Heupel out of town. Let me catch back up with Super Chats real quick. We have almost hit 1,000 people watching. I didn't say it on this stream, but I've been trying to give you guys a free shirt for weeks and weeks and weeks. Can we get 25 more people in here? I believe in you guys today. I believe in you guys this afternoon. You smash the thumbs up. You share out the link. We need 22 more people watching live. We'll give away a free Talkin VAWLS shirt. And let me double down. Let me double down. We get 700 likes, 1,000 live viewers, 1 T-shirt, 700 likes, 2 T-shirts. Let's give away some of this merch. Kevin's working hard to pump it out. I want to give some away. Right now, we got 260 likes. You guys put on more steam. You get that to 700. We'll give away a free shirt. We get 1,000 watching. We'll give away 2 free shirts. Big Orange Energy for 2 says if we whiff on Levit, it is Nico time in Tennessee. I would welcome him back with open arms. Hold on.
I'm glad I was muted for what I just said.
I removed that so I could see Coach Jay's face. I would welcome Nico back with open arms. Coach, would you allow him to come back?
I believe it or not, I would have some conditions. It would take a talk. I know it sounds simple and basic, and I know we're in a spot, but it would take a phone conversation. And I think you know why, Boogie. We won't get into it on here.
Yeah, maybe we tell somebody to not come with him, but it's all in jest. Nico's not coming back here.
No.
But I would take him with open arms. Vol Girl for 2. I don't even think I want Levit anymore. I do. I want to get it done, and I want to get it done quick. Dave Morrison for 2. Bring back the Chick-fil-A price quarterback. Different game, man. It's a different game. Big Orange Energy for 2. Boogie, can we make Elon Musk an honorary alum? I think that's the way. I think that is the pathway. Randy Wilson for 5 says, Dorothy, shout out, Randy. I appreciate you, my man. Why did I try to give away free merch? We were 22 away, and I tried to give away free merch, and now we're going backwards. We're going in the wrong direction. Let's put on more steam. Maybe they're going to share out the link to try to get it to 1,000. Randy Wilson for 5 says, Dorothy, shout out, Randy. I appreciate that. Scotty Oates has been a member for 21 months, says north of 6 for a kid. You have no idea what the timetable is ridiculous. Might as well go with what you'll have on campus for that price. Well, that may be where we end up going. Ethan Smith became a member of the channel. Shout out, Ethan. 32 more members, and we'll make it a 3rd shirt. Maybe. We got to get to 1,000 people. We got to get 700 likes. Let's see where they're at. Let's see where the likes are at. We went from 260 to 360. We gained 100 likes. Put on more steam. Brad drops a 50 spot. I thought Brad was dead. I thought he left this forever. He's here. He's dropping a 50 spot. Let's play the clip.
All I know is go Vols, because that's all I know. Go Vols.
Shout out Brad. He says, GBO, play the clip. Dorothy, update the transfer rules and add some teeth to these NIL contracts to add financial pain for transferring. I agree with all that. I don't have a problem with the portal. I think it should be a one-time free transfer. After that, it should go back to the old way. You got to sit a year if you transfer more than once. I also think these contracts have to mean something. But Scoops, do you think maybe we're heading in the right direction with what went down with Damon Williams and Washington saying, hey, we ain't going quietly into the night. This contract means something, and we're going to take you to court. I think we need to see more of that. And it look, if you want to bounce. But if you sign, you put pen to paper, then you shouldn't be able to leave.
Yeah, no, like that's probably the one good thing that I agree with the Big Ten on. Just based off, if you're going to sign a contract, if you're going to make these rules, you just signed a contract not even 2 months ago. Like you're going to abide by that contract where you agreed to play for us for next season. And that's probably the big, seeing the compliance with the Big Ten and teams that's happened to. Remember the Wisconsin DB that went to Miami, they were all over that. There's going to have to be some kind of compliance because you're signing these deals. You're not just a student athlete anymore. We're identifying them as student athletes, but you're also, a paid athlete. You're getting paid to play, even though it's not an actual thing. Pay for play is definitely real. So when you're holding these guys to a standard, you're treating them as pros. You're treating them as workers, employees. If you're signing a contract where you agree to play throughout that season, I think that you have to play throughout that season. That's the only way that we can have some kind of parity here. Maybe you tweak the transfer rules where you get a one-time free transfer. The second time you got to sit out a year, or however, to make it where this chaos where you can just make a phone call or have a friend of a player, call in and get somebody in the portal. It's not going to end. And I applaud, the schools that are taking advantage of it right now. You're seeing Ole Miss do it. You're seeing other schools like, Indiana get guys immediately on campus and do it. I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee is trying to do it, even though we're still on the NCAA probation. if things aren't going to change, you got to adapt to what, others around you are doing if you want to be successful. And that means going out there and getting a top 10 portal class, or you're recruiting these guys and filling your roster with elite talent. Open up that, that treasure chest and spend the money, because right now it's just the wild, wild west.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, agreed. You just got to have some better structure. You nailed it, Scoops. And until they fix it, it's just going to be a free for all, right? So we're just going to have to live in that wild, wild world until then, and deal with it, right? So unfortunate, but it's the name of the game.
Tyler Harrison's been a member for 21 months. Appreciate you, Tyler. Says we will get Joey back. It's the same situation Diego was in, the same courthouse, the same judge, same scenario. I don't see a judge changing his mind in a year. We will be okay. Go Vols. I don't know that I feel that way, man. I don't. And maybe it's just battered ball syndrome. I don't know. I just think I feel like last year was just, hey, let's get this out of our face. Let's do a one-time waiver and let's move on with it. I think the fact that we didn't get a resolution about JUCO years and whether or not they count towards eligibility, we didn't get a resolution on that in a full calendar year. I just don't see it. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's battered ball syndrome. Peyton Bowles for 2 says Levit gone, Joey back. Let's update you guys. If you're just now starting to roll in here, then let's kind of rewind time here just a little bit. So what happened was this morning we woke up, we thought Sam Levit was going to either Tennessee or Miami. We thought we were in a bidding war. However, he commits to LSU. We're all scratching our head. We're all going, what happened? Meanwhile, we're waiting on a court decision on Joey Aguilar. It wasn't really a ruling, wasn't really a decision. That came out while we were live. They're kicking the can down the road. Sam Rothman put out an update, says it doesn't look like a resolution in Joey Aguilar's case versus the NCAA is coming anytime soon. He says on a conference call today, the judge said he can't meet with the plaintiffs and defendants this week despite the portal closing Friday. Both the plaintiffs and the defense did agree to forego live testimony to move up the hearing before the portal window closes. However, a hearing is scheduled to be scheduled in the next few weeks, which, of course, is not ideal. There are about 20 players waiting on a decision. So, again, the can has been kicked down the road. Levit commits to LSU. Where do we go? What happens? Well, you see the update from Matt Zenitz. He says Tennessee has not given up yet in regards to Sam Levit and has still been pushing in hopes of remaining a consideration for him, sources tell CBS Sports. On3 followed suit, and they put out an update, and here's what On3 said. Hours after the news broke that Levit committed to LSU and Lane Kiffin, Tennessee is still at work trying to land the top-ranked player in the transfer portal. As of Monday afternoon, no deal has been signed by Levit with the Tigers. That's the key here. Pen has not hit paper. It's no different than a high school kid committing and flipping and going here and going there until signing day hits and the pen hits the paper. It doesn't matter. It is still open. He says Tennessee and Levit's camp have been in regular contact throughout Monday, and the Volunteers were never told he was going to LSU. Negotiations are ongoing between the two sides, sources have said, and the Volunteers are preparing one final offer for Levit and his camp to look over. Says sources have told On3 that the price range to land Levit has approached the $4 to $5 million range. Sources told On3 on Monday that Levit informed the Miami staff he would not be transferring to Coral Gables. So it is Tennessee and it is LSU. The price range somewhere around $4 to $5 million. Coach, is he worth $4 to $5 million? If that's the price tag, if we can get Levit, you said Sorsby, you wouldn't pay $5 for him. I don't want to misquote you there. I think that's what you said. But now here we
something like that,
and we may be spending it on Sam Levit. To me, man, hindsight's 2020. Drop that $5 million. Let's be rolling into this thing with Sorsby instead of Levit. But now here we sit. Price tag $4 to $5. Tennessee, LSU. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, personally, I didn't have a great take on Sorsby. I like Levit better. But once again, there's just, gosh, man, that huge unknown really worries you. A foot really worries you on a guy who relies on being mobile. You know, how much did they do to comfort that? I'll tell you what, I'd make LSU pay a lot more money no matter what I did if I were Tennessee. I'd make sure I got another bid down and made sure LSU had to go up maybe another full $1 million if they wanted to take them. So, yeah, maybe you go out there. If it's at 4 right now, you go to 4.5, 4.6, and, you know, make LSU really, really drop the bag if they want to pay for them.
Scoops,
sometimes your no, I was
Go
just
ahead,
going to say sometimes your job as a coach is to weaken your enemy as well.
Scoops, what type of deal are you putting together for your Tennessee? You know this is your last offer. This is your last shot. What type of deal are you putting together for Sam Levit?
Me personally, I think you got the 2 years. You got to at least plan for 2 years. But the ideal situation is you bring him for 1 year and you have a good enough season that you send him off to the draft. If you're around that $4 million range, I mean, we saw Tennessee have a rumored $8 million for Nico Iamaleava during his time here. I think you go 2 years, maybe if you have someone that wants to get involved and get this thing across the finish line, 4.5 or 4.75, $9.5 or $9 million over the 2 years. Hope that you do enough year one, and then you can invest in your young guys where they're going to be ready to go. But I mean, you got to be aggressive. I think Nako said it's entering that $4 to $5 million range. If that's the case, and that's where we're at right now, and he had already, Sam put out he intends to sign with LSU. I mean, I think Tennessee has a chance to be in that ballpark. And if you want to be aggressive enough, if you want this bad enough for 1 year where you can go and open up that war chest, we always heard all year about how Tennessee is going to be aggressive. They're going to be a big spender. I mean, this is one that you can kind of go out there and flex on if you get it across the finish line, man. So I could see it. I think Tennessee is, putting all the chips in one basket. And honestly, I don't think this would affect our pursuit for other portal targets going forward. I know people say we need other needs. I think Tennessee could be just as aggressive on defense or all the other holes and still get this thing across the finish line and get the higher offer. But I would give the guy probably like $9 million for the 2 years, and you hope it's done after the 1 year.
Yeah. I will say this, guys, no matter what, I got to roll, but I gotta get back out there and bust some chops and make sure people are getting stuff done. But no matter what, take a breath. Just remember there was a time when all of us used to be really, really, really excited about a 4-star, borderline 5-star in-state kid getting a chance to take over the reins. There used to be a time where we'd be really, really excited about a 5-star National Gatorade Player of the Year coming in and taking over the reins, even if he was a true freshman. So take a breath. If it doesn't work out, let's build this defense. Let's make it nasty. Let's make it tough. And let's see where the chip falls, and always go Big Orange and football's family, and take it all easy.
Shout out, Coach, for jumping on with us. We'll catch up tomorrow. Me and Coach are jumping in the film room. Have a good rest of your practice, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Coach.
All right, we're going to keep this train rolling. I owe somebody a free T-shirt because we hit 1,000 people watching live on YouTube, and YouTube alone. That's not even counting Facebook. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Here's what we're going to do. Everybody that dropped a door fee, everybody that dropped a super chat on this stream is going to be entered into a raffle. That's not ending now. That'll go through the end of the stream. You guys that are donating and supporting, I appreciate you. And my way of giving back is to give you a free shirt. So I will put them all in a randomizer. Even though Brad dropped a 50 spot, I don't really like Brad anyway. I'll probably remove his name so he doesn't get added. But we'll put everybody into a randomizer. We'll pick it out, and we'll drop that free shirt on the next live stream. Let me go check in and see how many thumbs up we get. I might have to give away 2 free shirts. We got 445 likes. We get that to 700. We're not going to give away 1 shirt. We are going to give away 2 free shirts. So you want to be entered to win? Drop a super chat. It can be 99 cents, and we'll enter you into the raffle for this free shirt. Tyler Adams became a member of the channel. Shout out, Tyler. We appreciate that. Mark Gentry for 2. Nothing to say, just a tip in the old tip jar. We appreciate that, Mark. Also, Marco Woods for 5. Nothing to say, a tip in the tip jar. We appreciate that. Everybody's entering the raffle now, Scoops. The raffle is firing up because we got Gregory C. dropping a $2 super chat. Appalachian Adventures for 2 says T-shirt raffle. Coach Ham for 2 says, when will TJ Metcalf commit? We talked a little bit about him last night. Of course, we got the commitment from DeJuan Lane. We saw another safety go elsewhere and end up at Ole Miss. Scoops, it certainly feels like Tennessee had a very good shot for TJ Metcalf. Do you have any update timeline on his commitment?
I think Tennessee's probably they're in the end zone about to score, to quote AV. Like I think they're close. I think they're right there at the finish line. Maybe some things to be settled out, just some little things. I don't think it's done yet. I'm not going to say that he's already in the boat, but I think that Tennessee is still the favorite. They're still the team trending. And I think his stepbrother also entered their portal today as a Tevin Metcalf, another safety from Michigan who's appeared, had 30 I don't even know, 30 tackles, I think, over his time at Michigan in the last few years. So I think that was a sign to say that, hey, maybe if you see that name get on campus where Tennessee hosts him for a visit after the dead period, you feel good about that. But those two would probably be a package deal as well, just, being in the family. So I think Tennessee's in a good spot. Maybe, you get TJ in, and then Tevin does his thing where he gets on that new age walk-on spot where you increase the roster limit. You have those extra spots from 85 to 103 in Tennessee's case because they are on probation still. They don't get those 2 scholarships, but I think you have the room to make it work. And if it's that simple for getting an elite safety, a starting safety from the Big Ten on your roster, I'm all for it, man. So maybe expect some good news soon. If not today, maybe tomorrow.
I think, man, you look at some of the commits that Tennessee's adding on defense, right? And you got to start with the foundation of those Penn State kids. Amari Campbell, I think he is going to be – I'm not comparing him to Arian Carter. I'm not saying he's better, worse, whatever, but I think he's going to be the Arian Carter. I think he is going to be the leader. I think he is going to be the heartbeat of this Tennessee defense in 2026. And you add Xavier Gilliam, you add Chaz Coleman, you add DeJuan Lane. That is a great nucleus on this defense, but then also adding guys like Quay Moss. That's a huge pickup. Ori Williams on offense. But getting back to the defense, I'm just rolling through my list here. The corner from Auburn, Kayan Lee. Like you're adding some dudes on defense. I think you're not done. You got to continue to work. You got to continue to add pieces on the defense. But that was a huge concern going into this portal cycle, right? Who are we going to get on defense? Who are we going to add on defense? And now as we see it play out, we're not finished. Don't take words and twist them here, but I think we're moving in the right direction. It makes quarterback position that much more important to me because we've got all kinds of weapons on offense, but a quarterback is a priority. You have to have a quarterback. Finish off this defense. Let's go get this quarterback. And I think we got a shot to compete in 2026. We'll let it play out. Corey Smith for 10, nothing to say, just a tip in the tip jar. Shout out, Corey. We appreciate you. Sean Claybo drops a $2 super chat. Randy Wilson for 2 says t-shirt raffle. Pondy for 2 says at least we know hype can elevate any quarterback. I agree with that 100%. Dakota drops a $1 super sticker. Checkerboard overalls for 5 says a drop in the hat for all the work you boys are putting in and the Sam Levit fun. Shout out Checkerboard overalls. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate Scoops and Coach jumping on here with me, man. We had no intentions of going live today, but it was so chaotic. I said, boys, we got to go live. So here we are. It's a lot more fun just kind of working through it all live together. Dylan drops a $1. I'm sure that is for the t-shirt fun. Seth for 2 says, you know what I'm here for. Seth wants that free shirt. Cookie Monster for 2. Are we still in a good spot to get the Bama boys? It doesn't look like it. Austin Price put out an update and said that the Alabama kids were likely off to Ohio State. So he goes on and says Tennessee will go hard to land Jordan Norman or either Evans or Mathis. Scoops, we talked about these kids last night. It already felt like Tennessee was in a good spot for the edge rusher from Tulane, Jordan Norman, 6'4", 249. Listed as the 40th best edge, but listening to Coach talk last night, listening to Foul Ming talk last night, even you were in. I like Jordan Norman, but then Evans and Mathis too. You think they take one of the two between Evans and Mathis?
Yeah, that's probably where it's trending now. I mean, last night we were being, realistic to it about the point that a package deal, Ohio State, being a big spender there. The NIL offer and the rev share money wasn't, the reason why. It sounds like they've had I know they ended up they played at Alabama, but they always had it was Alabama, Ohio State in that recruitment. The top two always wanted to play at Ohio State, so that already having the relationships, it wasn't the NIL money that had them trending. They're trending towards Columbus. It's not done yet, but we talked about it last night on the show. If Tennessee can go in there and get one of Mathis or Evans from A&M, you land Jordan Norman to match him on the other side of Chaz Coleman, a guy that was dominant at Tulane. You almost prefer that. I mean, you can get those guys. I feel like you get Norman and Evans for probably cheaper than you get Rusaw and Smith. So staff is really high on both those guys. Evans was going to have an increased role next year at A&M. He was a redshirt freshman. a guy that played behind a lot of talent that went to the NFL. So they were sad to see him leave. Jordan Norman, John Summerall was going all in trying to get him to Florida with him off that roster in Tennessee, hitting out the park. Rodney Garner doing their thing. I would be shocked if we don't see some good news maybe throughout the day or tomorrow in the upcoming days. But I prefer it that way, man. I mean, you save a little bit of money, but you get two guys that you view the same in talent-wise, and you just keep going. I mean, you're adding these guys left and right. If you can get across the finish line with that and you still get two, even though you lose out on the duo, that's a pair that they're going, together no matter what. I think you get, equivalent talent no matter who you end up with. I prefer Evans over Mathis. I think Evans has a shorter timeline. It sounds like Mathis wants to take more visits after this dead period in 48 hours. So if you can go ahead and get some guys in the boat that you already are really high on, I'm all for it, man. I would love it.
I want Evans, and you know why?
He's huge. Give me that picture. Dude.
That's why I want Evans right there. I want a monster,
boy.
Old school defensive tackle, 6'5", 310 pounds. Put that man in the middle and let him eat. Just let him go out there and move dudes around. It's the type of guy, I don't care what his stat line looks like. I don't care what his numbers look like. He is a monster. He is a huge body. And can we call a spade, though? I get what you're doing there, Scoops. I get what you're doing because you're talking budget, right? 2-for-1 special. Can I get more out of the A&M kid? Can I get more out of the LSU kid and the Tulane kid? Can I get more mileage based on the money I'm spending? And I get what you're doing. But let's call a spade a spade. Do you think – and I love AP. AP, I think, is the best in the business. I think he gets the best inside information. I think he truly is the best when it comes to getting inside information in recruiting in the portal. Shout out AP. However, do you ever think maybe, just maybe, he's trying to shape the narrative a little bit? I mean, when you're going out to eat with Josh Heupel and you're sitting down and you're breaking bread and your pals and your buddies, it might be like somebody talking about that Vols Scoops guy on Twitter. And I may be saying, Scoops has connections. Scoops that got that inside guy, man. Scoops ain't ripping nobody off. I might put the word out there and try to I might let them think they're making their decision, but I might try to guide them to where I want them to feel about you. You think maybe AP is trying to guide us towards thinking the A&M kid, the LSU kid, the Tulane kid, this staff likes them just as much, if not more, than the Bama duo?
Yeah, I mean, there's that possibility where, you would prefer the guys that have SEC elite talent, highly ranked guys, big bodies. You would, you want to compete with the top contenders, but, things that don't lie, man, the Bible, the mirror, and the film, like Coach would say, if you watch the film on Evans or Mathis, you would see why, A&M and LSU are trying to keep those kids on campus. I mean, those are huge losses. You don't really see the eye-popping stats from your defensive tackles because they are creating disturbance up front, winning in the trenches to create, the play to be made from your linebackers, your edge rushers, your DBs. Those guys really don't get enough credit. But, watching the film, I could see why they love Evans. I mean, absolute hoss. We haven't had a guy that big since Elijah Simmons last year. And you have a guy like that, that's an automatic double team, in my opinion. You have those big bodies. You take that offensive line where they have to play to that guy and put two men on him. So that's going to open up more holes for Amari Campbell, DeJuan Lane, Chaz Coleman. So I think it's definitely a tactic where Jim Knowles and Rodney Garner know the bodies they need to create havoc and get this defense to where it needs to be. And don't let the redshirt freshman shock you. This guy was, experienced on special teams. When he got out there in his limited time, he was an absolute force. I mean, that is a big body. And when I'm looking at tackles, I want some big boys.
Yeah. And look, the reality is what you're selling me there on kind of bargain for your buck, right? How much am I spending to get these kids versus the Bama kids? It matters. It's important. And you can feel a certain way in the chat about whether or not we should have dropped the bag on the Bama kids or done this or done that. The bottom line is I trust Rodney Garner. I know Rodney Garner can look at the kid from A&M. He can look at the kid from LSU. He can look at the kid from Tulane, and he can decide if it's worth it to go get these guys instead of dropping more money on the Bama kids. And, if you can't trust Rodney Garner to evaluate talent, who in the world can you trust? Let me continue to catch up with you guys. And that same conversation is about the quarterback position, right? I get it. I see the George comments. I see the Faison comments, but I think Josh Heupel knows what he's got in that room, and there is a reason he is attacking the portal. But let me catch back up with you guys. Shout out Cookie Monster for getting some good conversation coming out there. Ty Velli for 2 says, for Joey, unfortunately, only time is the enemy. Roger Gerald's been a member for 38 months. I appreciate that. Says time and money, invest the money in Sam and invest the time, spring camp, into practice, concentrating on developing the younger quarterbacks. That's fair. Vol Girl for 5, there are rumors that boosters are adding money so Kiffin doesn't win, but it looks like our wide receivers want Joey, at least if you go by Staley's tweet. I think everybody wants Joey, right? I want Joey. I think everybody on this team wants Joey. I think Joey is a leader. I think the way he came in and went to work, I think he won over the respect of his teammates. I know there are some people in this fan base that are ready to move on from Joey, but if you ask me right now, it's Joey Aguilar. Always Joey Aguilar. Scoops, I told you, I said, we're going live if Joey gets positive news because I wanted to be here to celebrate it. Yeah. However, it gets kicked down the road, but I mean, I know you agree with that. Joey Aguilar over anybody else in the portal.
Yeah, it's not even just based off last year or getting him for a bargain. Like, I mean, we talked about it last night. The guy came in here and he worked for that job. It wasn't just given to him. He took the guys out. He did all the right things. He learned the playbook. He was spending every night at Heupel's house and leaving at midnight or 2 a.m, getting ready. So the jump that Hendon Hooker made from 2021 to 2022, knowing that that's a possibility with Joey, you saw the optimism. You saw how good he was playing, and even in that second half of the season, playing with a benign tumor on his throwing arm. If you would, I would take Joey in year 2, even with that situation, over a guy that's coming back from a Lips Frank or Pabula, who his foot's also he's been injured as well, and he might not be ready to go for the spring. So it's not just the money, man. Like, I think overall the team, the fans, they all want the coaches, Josh Heupel, Joey Halzle. They would love Joey Aguilar to be that guy, but you saw the thing we've been warning you about. You can't count on the legal system, the court, or the judges to do what you think is right, because now this thing is going on down the road.
And that's the problem. Going back to Ty's super chat there, time's the enemy. Like, time is what's causing the problem here. If we could sit back and wait and the portal wasn't open and we knew we were going to get an answer on Joey, then we might not even be in this situation, right? If we just knew Joey was coming back, it would be a whole lot easier. But like Coach said, man, I wouldn't want to be Josh Heupel. You can't sit around and wait on a courtroom. You got to go and you got to make a move. Roger Gerald for 2 says, go Big Orange. Shout out Roger. Chris Gurley for 2 says, go get him, coach. Snikes for 2 says, appreciate all the updated info. Great work. Lance for 10 says, thanks for the updates, Boogie. I'm exhausted from the portal moves. I can't even imagine how you feel. Man, I'm
it's bad.
I hope my wife's not listening. I'm going to try to take a night off. I'm going to try my best to take a night off. I will be following it. I will be refreshing on my phone. The plan is to go grill some pork chops, spend some time with the family, and relax. That is the goal. But, hey, we got a job to do around here, and that is keep you guys up to date with everything going on in the portal. If you just popped in the chat, we hit 1,000 live. What does that mean? It means I'm giving away a free t-shirt. We're giving away a free t-shirt. So what you guys got to do, I'm going to take everybody that has super chatted on the stream, whether it's $1 or it's Brad's $50. We do appreciate that $50, Brad, even though I don't really like you. We like Orange Boys around here. However, everybody that super chats is going to be entered into a raffle to win that free shirt. We'll announce the winner on the next live stream. I said we would double it, make it 2 free shirts if we get 700 thumbs up. I've got 527 right now. So smash that thumbs up, share out the link, drop a super chat if you wanted to be entered into the raffle. If you want to just go buy one, you can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. You're not happy with how things are playing out in the portal. You're not happy with 8-4. You're always frustrated, always mad. We got the brand new Nega Vols shirt just for you. If you're always arguing, whether it's on Twitter or it's in the comment section or it's in the live chat, and you're sick of telling the other guy that you're a certified ball-knowing realist, you don't have to tell them anymore. You can just wear this shirt and let them know that you are, in fact, a certified ball-knowing realist. Grab that shirt. If you don't like our comedy, you don't like our insult shirts, you can just get a clean Tennessee shirt. You can get Talkin VAWLS Network merch. We got Nike merch, golf polos, quarter zips. We got shirts that say, I hate the whole state of Alabama. We got shirts that say FUGA. We got shirts that say Buck Fama, Kentucky's Daddy, Gator Hater. We got all kinds of fun stuff. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Go check out the merch. This is a clean one. I'm wearing it right now. I forget about the shirt all the time. It's my favorite design. Love it.
When you asked me if I wanted merch and I saw the Talkin VAWLS with the VOLS letter sign, I'm like, that's the one for me. It's so clean. Excited to get it on the way.
Yeah, go check it out, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. You can also support by hitting the join button right down there beside subscribe. It's only $1 a month. You help keep the lights on so we can do this coverage. You guys that keep saying, hey, man, I appreciate the hard work. I appreciate the grind. It's because of the people that support this channel through membership, so we are grateful for that. You can hit that dollar button down below, the join button down below. Stephen Farrell does just so, drops a new membership. We appreciate you, Stephen. Ron the Don for 2. Okay, how about this Harrison Bailey? Too soon. It is too soon, Ron the Don. But I love you, brother. DDT Hams for 5. Someone need to investigate the judge and see who gives him he gives money to. Don't ever count on the courtroom. Let's tie a big fat bow on this update on Sam Levit. Again, commits to LSU earlier today. We think it's over. We think it's a wrap. Matt Zenitz puts out the update, says Tennessee is not going away. They're putting together one final offer. We went through it. Miami is out. They are out. It is LSU. It is Tennessee. The price range, according to On3, is around $4 to $5 million. So where's Austin Price? I love Austin Price. Gives the best updates here. He says Tennessee has remained firm. They believe to not be out of it. He says they've had plenty of dialogue with Levit's team today. If I were a betting man, the kid still ends up at LSU, but certainly it isn't done. I'm told he should be good to go shortly after spring, medically, no matter where he ends up. I know that was a concern for a lot of people. Scoops, for the sake of speculation here, let's say Joey Aguilar is off the table. Joey Aguilar is not returning. Do you push all your chips in on Sam Levit, or do you look for that next option, whether that be the kid from USC, whether that be the kid from Missouri, or whether there's a kid out there that's not in the portal yet and we're going to go tamper and we're going to walk somebody in and get them to Knoxville? Where are you going with this thing if you're Josh Heupel?
I think first and foremost, it's on Levit until he signs that dotted line, or until you see that, hey, he is sticking with LSU, and then you pivot to someone walking someone in. If that doesn't work, then you pivot to the Missouri guy. But I mean, you might as well go out there and fight with Levit. Give him everything you got. You're still in communication. You have that relationship with Halsley and his brother back at Utah State. I mean, the familiarity, the explosive offense from last year, what Joey Aguilar didn't even have spring practice. I mean, you can come in day one, learn the offense, and have these weapons around you. I think Tennessee's going to run. They're gonna throw that bag out there. They're going to try and do everything they can, put all their eggs in one basket, and get this thing. Try to get back in it. I think I've heard from a different source that right around that LSU offer is 4.5 plus incentives. I think Tennessee is able, to match that if they want to. I think Tennessee can maybe even go up a little bit. How desperate or how much of a quarterback do we need? How much do we value Sam Levit over another guy that is in our hindsight, or Bro Pabula? One thing that we haven't talked about all show, Boogie, with Miami being out, does Adidas get involved and help Tennessee against LSU? Do they go out there with an Adidas athlete and throw him an offer where those incentives mean more based off your NIL deal that you already have with an apparel company? So, I mean, it's definitely something to monitor. I mean, it's going so many different directions. I mean, AP and Nikos have said that if they're a betting man, bet on LSU. But the fact that Tennessee is still throwing this out there, the fact that it's against LSU and Lane Kiffin at LSU, who's regardless going to take 3 quarterbacks because he has none on his roster. I mean, that USC kid could very well likely still end up there. I mean, they want him to sign. They want all 3. And I wonder if that makes, this news with Levit, pause a little bit. Here at Tennessee out. I mean, you're having those conversations. If you're going to throw all those eggs in one basket with what's left in the portal right now and the confidence you don't have a guarantee to walk somebody in, I throw it all in here first. I think you try to get this across the finish line. You make a statement. Tennessee, they've done, multiple things with the staff being here. They go after the number 1 quarterback, and they go after the number 1 edge rusher. Tennessee landed Chaz Coleman. They've landed the number 1 edge rusher in prior recruiting classes. They're going to try to go all in here. Do I think it's enough? We'll have to wait and see. But I promise you, this is the number 1. This is the thing. This is the guy they want the most. So if you can get it across the finish line and shock the world, I'll be ecstatic. But I think you put all your eggs in one basket here before anything.
Look, man, Austin Price said that Chaz Coleman was like, what, 10%, 15%, 20%? He was pretty low on Chaz Coleman coming to Tennessee. Guess who else was? The other experts, the other insiders, the national guys. Everybody said he was going to Ohio State until he wasn't. Then it was going to be a bidding war, and Tennessee couldn't win it. Now here we sit with Sam Levit in the same type of situation. And the interesting thing for me, here we sit less than 24 hours away from last night's live stream. When I woke up this morning, I didn't like the fact that I thought it was Tennessee and Miami. I didn't think we could be competitive with Miami. I thought if it came down to money, when they're throwing around $6.5 million to Ty Simpson, I thought we're not matching that. Like, we don't, if we do have the money to match it, we're not spending that money on Sam Levit. Even with the commitment to LSU and all the drama that's unfolded the last few hours, I feel better about Tennessee's chances right now than I did when I thought it was Tennessee and Miami, for all the reasons you mentioned. Does Adidas get involved here? Is there a donor out there that says, I'll be damned if I'm going to sit by and let Tennessee roll into 2026 with the defense shaping up the way that it is with Jim Knowles and the offensive weapons that we have? I'm not going to sit here and let us roll into 2026 without a quarterback. I've seen enough Sam Levit. I like Sam Levit. Here's the money you need. Go get him, and let's go win in 2026. I see the comments. I see him right now in the live chat. I see him on the comment section of every video, and I feel like I've said this 5,072 times, and I'm going to say it again. Josh Heupel does not have confidence in George McIntyre. Josh Heupel does not have confidence in Faison Brandon right now. That doesn't mean he won't have confidence to start him in 2027. It tells you right now that Josh Heupel feels that George McIntyre is not ready. If you disagree with that, if you argue with that, first of all, we have a shirt we sell at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS that says certified ball knowing realist. You can go grab that shirt, or we can have a conversation. Why would we be attacking the portal? What have you seen that gives you the confidence that George McIntyre is ready? What have you seen that tells you that Faison Brandon is ready, other than star power, other than star rankings? Faison Brandon played 4 games last year as a high school senior. I saw somebody tell me, I don't want Joey. Let's roll with Faison. So you don't want to roll with the guy that led the SEC in passing, but you want to go with a high school kid that played in 4 games last year because he was hurt? I think the future is bright for Faison. I'm excited for Faison. I'm excited for George, but now is not their time. And that's why Josh Heupel is in the portal. So if you think you know more about the quarterback position than Josh Heupel, that's fine. My question to you is, what have you seen that gives you the confidence that George McIntyre is ready? What have you seen that gives you the confidence that Faison Brandon is ready? And it's easy to put in the comment section, just don't recruit them then. You have to recruit them. Scoops, you got to continue to recruit elite quarterbacks at the high school level. And then if you have a need, look, we wouldn't be in this situation. Everybody that's like, well, why are we recruiting him? We wouldn't be having this conversation. We wouldn't be debating recruiting George McIntyre if Nico didn't leave us high and dry at the spring game last year, right? Because Nico would still be here. Nico would be the starter. We would still be developing George, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. You got to continue to recruit at the high school level, at an elite level, and let the chips fall where they may. If George McIntyre never plays a snap here, guess what? My feelings aren't going to be hurt. As long as the guy that's out there taking snaps at quarterback is winning and playing elite football, you got to keep recruiting, Scoops. You got to keep recruiting.
You got to keep recruiting. You got to bring those guys in. You can't build around with elite, wide receivers or running backs without a quarterback. So you're talking about, oh, why even recruit them? Because you got to have that guy in the clubhouse. You got to recruit around them, even if it's a vision that's not realistic yet. You still got to do it. And then I love George McIntyre. Ever since he committed, said it's not a decision, it's a calling. I want to come play for Tennessee. That fired me up because he wants to be here, and I think that he knows that he wants to be here too, but you got to go out there and get that 1-year insurance guy, which is why they've gone after 1-year guys and not multi-year quarterbacks. You've seen them be strategic with how they're going to go out there and add somebody, even though you can't say they haven't tried to go add a quarterback and they've waited on Joey this whole time. When you saw them with Sorsby, you saw them with Josh Hoover, you saw them with Sam Levit. So they're covering their grounds, man. But, you got to go out there. You got to go out there and make a move. You're going to retain your guys. You're going to, develop them. And that's how it's going to be. This is the day and age of college football where you got to go and win now, especially with a new defensive coordinator and a system that already is going to be behind, and you got to get ahead of that, man. So I think Josh Heupel is going to be aggressive. They're throwing the bag at Sam Levit. Can they get across the finish line? I'm not sure, but they're going to go out there and get a guy because you have to have 3 quarterbacks in your quarterback room no matter what. I don't care if it's from Georgia Southern, Missouri, Arizona State. you need those bodies in your room, and you got to recruit those guys because you can't stop recruiting. You got to get these guys on campus. You got to keep building because talent wins games. You got to recruit talent. So I'm fired up to see what happens. I'm sure we're going to end the show, and maybe by 7:00, Boogie's like, hey, let's do another one. This is crazy. Miss Boogie's going absolute ape, but it's what happens, man. We all strive for this. We all live for this. We all bleed orange. We love the University of Tennessee. And even if we question what the staff is doing or what direction we're going in, we're going to say, go big orange. So I'm fired up no matter what happens. What I've seen so far, I'm happy about. And we'll see if we can get Sam Levit, but we still got a week for this thing, man, whether it's for Beulah, walking someone else in. We'll see what happens, but Josh Heupel is going to go out there and get him a quarterback.
This might be my favorite tweet that came out today during all of this chaos. Shout out to Carl. I don't know if Carl's in the chat. He usually catches the rewatch if he's not, so he'll see this. But he says, breaking news, live look at Mrs. Boogie, wife of the infamous Boogie Bentley, waiting on him to stop working and spend time with her and the rest of the family. It's been 84 years that it has. Hey, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I love jumping on here, hanging out with the guys, talking about it. I love arguing and debating with you guys in the chat. Whether we agree or disagree, I'm here to have a conversation. And if I disagree with you, guess what? I'm going to tell you about it because that's what we do. We're here for open conversation as long as everybody keeps it civil. Terry Tipton for 2 says, Dorothy, shout out, Terry. We appreciate you. Billy Todd drops $1 to have his name entered into the raffle for a free shirt. Volunteer's been a member for 18 months. We appreciate that. Foul Minks here doesn't want to work.
Look at Foul.
But he wants everybody to see that he's in there, and he's got his own custom emoji. Scoops, we need an emoji for you. We just got your logo. We just went lazy and threw your logo down there. Foul Mink says, drop the bag and punk out Lane Kiffin. Jody Wooten for 2 says, after hearing Coach Jay, I like the Long Street kid. We'll see how it plays out. We'll continue to keep you guys up to date, I'm sure. I will be right back on here dropping videos, breaking it all down. We're going to be live tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to play EA Sports College Football, but guess what? We're going to talk about the transfer portal. Mrs. Boogie already said, I already know how this song ends. She said, y'all are going to go live on Tuesday and do a regular show talking about the portal, and then you'll just push off NCAA to Wednesday night. Wouldn't surprise me. Stay dialed in. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click that bell for notifications. Smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. We would appreciate it. Hit the join button and support this channel. Go check out our merchandise, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. For Scoops, my name's Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
That we call